we're going to work on notes 2B. This is translating verbal phrases into algebraic equations and expressions. So we're going to go over a few words that stand for the different operations that you see in front of you. So when we look at this symbol right here, you probably think, oh, that's a plus sign. So the words that you're going to look for in verbal problems, or word problems as we call them, are going to be things like sum, add, increased by, and there's a bunch of other ones. So anything that you think is like, hey, that sounds like I should add or do more, like that's what you're going to go with. The next one is we have subtract, right? So we have subtract, which is the most basic one we'll find. We can see less, minus, difference, decreased by. All right, so those are some more terms that you'll see. And then for this guy here, right, our multiplication symbol, some of the words that you might see would be product, multiply, squared, which is a special one, right? That's like the power of, to the second power. And then you also have double, okay? Or triple or quadruple, those kind of things. All right, and the last one, division. You've got divide. You have quotient. And you also would see ratio. Okay, so those are those things that you're going to see. So those are those keywords that we're looking for when we look at these word sentences, and we're going to put them into algebraic equations and expressions. So there are more that are out there. So if you're not sure, feel free when you're doing the assignment, go ahead and Google them and be like, hey, I wonder what this is. All right, so we're going to translate these sentences into equations, but we're not going to solve them. You don't need to solve for this assignment. You just need to put them and translate them, okay? So we're going to look at this. We've got 10, and I'm going to highlight, so increased by twice, right? So what that tells me is I've got, this is going to be plus, right? And twice is times, okay? So, and another key to these, I'm going to highlight over here, is a number, all right? So when you see a number, I'm going to put this up here. That's a terrible star. Let me try that again. That's better. A number means variable. So when you see a number, that just means you're going to put a variable in where you see that. All right. So it says 10 increased by. So I have 10 increased by, which is add, plus twice 2 times a number. And we said above that a number was a variable, so x. And the word is, we didn't talk about this up in the notes, but I'm going to put off to the side. You should write this. Is means equals. Okay? Is 20. So there you go. Okay. Apparently I do this all the time when the bell's going to ring. All right, so example 2 says the product of 4 and a number. Okay, so the product of, so product means multiply. And 4 and a number, so a number we said was x, or a, or b, or y, whatever variable you want to use. I usually go with x, but you can pick any letter you want. Is decreased from 12. Okay, so this one's a little tougher, right? Is decreased from. So when you see this phrase decreased from, okay, that changes a little bit. It changes the order, okay? So if I said 12, take 12 from, or 7 is decreased from 8, I would subtract those, but the 12 goes in front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this guy over. This is why I should have read the whole problem before I started doing that. So the product of 4 number is decreased from 12. So that would be 12 minus, because it's decreased from. So you take it away from that first thing. Giving, which is same as equals 100. okay? So the order matters. Make sure you're paying attention to those small words like from. So the difference between decrease from and decrease by is where you put the number in subtraction. That was really confusing, was it? So if you see decreased by, I'll show you an example in the next one. Let's do that. So this was decreased from this first one. Example 3 says a number squared is decreased by 8. So a number squared, so that I'm going to pick x again, squared, is decreased by 8. To yield means equals. Okay, so pay attention to these words, right? I'm going to highlight all of these, so we'll do pink. So is, giving, yield, to get the number. Okay, so those things mean equal, right? And I talked about this one too, decreased by. So when it's decreased by, the number that goes, it goes in order that it says. When it says decrease from, you switch the order. All right. The ratio of 3 and a number, so ratio means divide. The ratio of 3 and a number is increased by 4 to get the number times 8. So normally it doesn't, so if you wrote x times 8, that's fine too, but normally we write numbers before variables. Okay, so I know I said that, so there's a word is in here, so you have to be careful because is doesn't always mean equal. Most of the time it does. It'll also be telling you what you're going to do. Okay, so those are our 4 examples. Go ahead and work on the worksheet, and yeah, that's it.